Hey, bodacious beast, welcome back to my channel. My name is Scottyallenday. Today we are talking about toxic work environments. But before we begin, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you don't miss another video. So today we're going to give you some warning signs that you're about ready to enter a toxic work environment. Now, mainly when I go and get ready to interview or even apply for a company, I will actually go to the business, go to the establishment myself. If it's an office, it's really hard to do, but if it's something like retail or something like for customer service or, various other job entities that you could actually come from the outside and go on in. So let's say you're planning on going into a retail establishment or working in a restaurant. So working in a restaurant, that's a real easy one. You just go into the restaurant, you make a reservation if you need to, and you just go in and have a dining experience. So if you're really attracted to this one particular restaurant, you've always wanted to work there, but you're kind of wondering, what's the job like? Well, you're going to go in and you're going to ask an employee, and they're going to probably sugarcoat it because they don't want the boss over here, and they're going to end up, canned, fired, let go, laid off, whatever. So the first thing you do is you make the reservation. You listen to the person on the other end of the phone on how they take the reservation. If they, basically the tone of voice over that, but don't judge over the tone of voice because you don't know if they have a hidden disability. Now you go to the restaurant, is there a long wait? Is there a long line? There's a lot of customers. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a good work environment. Doesn't necessarily mean it's a toxic work environment. But most of the time, a busy environment doesn't really have a chance to become toxic. It just becomes busy and probably more disciplined. So there's a difference between toxic work environment and a disciplined work environment because, well, if you have a disciplined work environment with a lot of customers, somebody's doing something right. So the first thing you're going to notice is you're going to notice the greeter. If the greeter actually looks you in the eye, if the greeter, is warm, friendly, pleasant, and takes you over to your table like you need to, that's a good sign of the environment. What's the environment around you like? Is it a what do you want to say? Culture-friendly environment, or is it just cluttered? So if you're looking at a cluttered environment where somebody has thousands of knickknacks all over the walls, most of the time it's going to be a toxic work environment because the boss says what the boss says, what the owner says, the boss says, goes. They don't care what anybody else says. So a lot of times the surrounding area, that's pretty much it. Is it well lit or is it dim? If it's dim, it's probably hiding something. If it's dimly lit, or if it's a lounge and it's dimly lit. A lot of lounges now are not really dimly lit, but a lot of times when they're dark, it's normally hiding something. The wait staff, are the tables promptly cleaned? If it's busy, well, yeah, it takes a little time, but are the tables clean? Is your table wiped down? Those are some small things. Does the server go above and beyond and take a towel and do one more wipe down? Is the server friendly, courteous, thoughtful, kind, looking like she's having a great time at her job? Now, don't get me wrong. If it's a hectic or busy work environment, well, then yeah. But the thing is a lot of times they learn how to be able to make the job fun when it's busy because everybody else around them keeps everybody going. This is what we call a family environment. So is it a family-like environment? Are the waitresses going in kind of down and they're coming back out and they're all perked up again? That's the type of environment I'm talking about. What's the food quality? Does the food quality suck? The food quality sucks and it tastes cheap. It's got to be a toxic work environment. So that's the main thing. Those are the big things about this entire Do the drinks taste watered down? Does the soda seem flat? That sort of thing. You can actually do a review or a critique of a restaurant with all the little bits and pieces involved to determine whether or not it's a toxic work environment. Another one is like, let's say, a bus company. Well, most of the time you can see the bus company and the guy rolls up and you see them all over town. Well, you know what, let's observe a couple of these. Does the driver look extremely exhausted? Does the driver look overworked? Is the driver smiling and greeting? Is the driver outside of the bus greeting? Is the driver helping other people or passengers? Is he sitting in the seat? There's a lot of things that are going on. I mean, the buses could look immaculate, but the drivers could be completely broken. Broken drivers and overworked drivers, that's a toxic work environment. A lot of bus companies are on call. They don't have schedules. They don't give you the work the day before, and then right smack in the middle of the day, they'll give you more work. That's a toxic work environment. You walk into a retail establishment and you see the staff constantly working, and it takes a little while to notice you. And then the boss comes out and starts hollering. Or a manager walks up to another employee and greets themselves to the employee, and the employee does an eye roll, does a sigh, and yeah, how can I help you? Like they've completely given up. That's another sign of a toxic work environment. Going to an establishment and it's extremely short-staffed. That's a toxic work environment. I mean, if you go into a restaurant or if you go into a store and there's hardly anybody there, you know there's got to be a problem. And once you sign there, you got a problem. Another thing that you need to be leery about, and you know, don't get me wrong, some of it's better than others, but all of a sudden you start looking and you see that a bus company or a restaurant is offering a $1,000 hiring bonus, or a $7,500 hiring bonus, or a $10,000 hiring bonus, and it just doesn't seem right. That's a sign of a toxic work environment. So you take these, and you know, you get these little warning signs, and you have these red flags when you go into the interview. You don't want to ask if it's a toxic work environment. They're going to completely ignore the fact that it is a toxic work environment. But watch how the interviewer's stature is. Watch how the interviewer presents the company to you. They're interviewing you, but the thing is you are actually interviewing them as well. An HR person is supposed to be the premier of the company. It's just like watching a commercial for a blockbuster movie. If the commercial's a flop, the blockbuster's gonna flop. It's not gonna be a blockbuster. So if the interviewer is not presenting the company to you like if you had perceived the company to be, you got a toxic work environment. So a lot of these red flags that I brought up with toxic work environments, well, yeah, that's pretty much it. You look in the restrooms and you see grease on the floor, or you look in the parking lot and the parking lot's not kept up. You know, a lot of employees will go above and beyond to make sure that the place that they work at, if it is a great place to work at, is kept in tip-top shape. They're wiping tables down. They're not doing anything. They're filling buckets. They're out just making sure waters are topped off and that sort of thing. In retail, they're making sure that the shelves are stocked and taken care of. In a service industry like a hairstylist salon or nail salon or a tire changing place or even a mechanic shop, and there's hardly anything going on, and they're taking care of the shop and the tools. When somebody cares enough, if there's one person doing it, that's kind of a red flag. But if everybody's doing it, you know something's being done right. So in my opinion, this is how I would identify a toxic work environment. And I would pretty much turn around and I'd just say, I'm sorry, I don't feel comfortable here. Well, they're going to crack a joke to the other employees, but the thing is, they don't know who they lost. So, how do you guys determine if there's a toxic work environment when you walk in the door? Let me know in the comment section below. Also hit that subscribe button, that notification bell. Let your friends and family know, and keep on rocking.